Welcome back. In the last class, we have seen the different kinds of efficiencies involved in the steam turbines. So now in today's class, we will talk about the condition for maximum blade efficiency in impulse steam turbine. We need to remember we are dealing with only the impulse turbine. So in the case of impulse turbine, there is no static component. So the energy exchange takes place only due to the dynamic component. So here we have the inlet velocity triangle and here we have the outlet velocity triangle. So for both the velocity triangles, since we are dealing with the axial flow turbines, all the steam turbines which we use are axial flow turbines. So we need to remember the tangential velocity of the blade remains same because the fluid enters. So if this is the axis of the turbine, then the fluid enters and leaves the turbine at the same radius. So the radius remains same, and because of that the tangential velocity of the blade remains same for both inlet as well as outlet. And then here we have the absolute velocity V1, then we have the relative velocity VR1. Again we need to remember we are dealing with vectors here, these are velocities not speed. So vectors has magnitude as well as direction. So the angles are also important, and we always take u as our reference whenever we are constructing a velocity triangle. So u will be our base whether it is inlet or outlet or any type of turbine, not only for impulse, whether it is a reaction turbine, radial flow turbine or mixed flow turbine or any turbo machine. Whenever we are writing the velocity diagram, it will be with respect to u. So u will be taken as the base for constructing the velocity triangle. So u, and here the direction of u is towards right. Here also the direction of u is towards right. So we have u, VR1 and V1. V1 is the absolute velocity which can be split into vertical component and horizontal component. The vertical component we call it as Vf1, the flow velocity Vf1, and the horizontal component we call it as Vu1, the tangential component of absolute velocity in the direction of u. So u and Vu1 will have the same direction. When it comes to outlet velocity triangle, again here we have u, which from here till here it is u, that is the base for construction of velocity triangle, and then we have VR1. So u and VR1, they will be in same direction, and whether it is V1 or V2 will be in the opposite direction. So we have VR1 here and we have V2 here. So the angle made by VR2 is beta 2 and the angle made by V2 is alpha 2. So now we have V2 here, which is the absolute velocity at the exit. For turbines, absolute velocity at the exit will be lower than the absolute velocity at the inlet because we are absorbing energy, and this is an impulse turbine. So in the case of impulse turbine, the kinetic energy of the fluid will be absorbed by the blades. So V2 should be always less than V1 for an impulse turbine. And then so this absolute velocity, it can be split into two components, one is vertical component and the other one is horizontal component. So here the vertical component is Vf2, flow velocity at outlet, and the horizontal component is Vu2, and the direction of Vu2 is towards left. So in this case Vu2 is in the opposite direction of u or Vu1. Okay. These two triangles, if we draw them separately, then it is difficult for us to construct the velocity triangle, because we need to construct this separately and then we need to construct this separately. We need to measure from here and transfer it to the outlet velocity triangle. So what we do is, we have two methods of combining the velocity triangles. Here we have the common base method. So the base for the construction of inlet and outlet velocity triangle is the tangential velocity u. So we will take that as the common base for both inlet velocity triangle as well as outlet velocity triangle, and then we draw both the diagrams or triangles together. So here we have u, and I will first start with the outlet velocity triangle. So the inlet velocity triangle. So here we have the absolute velocity V1 and that makes an angle of alpha 1. Then where that ends, I will join the other end of u to end of V1. So that will give me the relative velocity VR1 and the angle made by that is beta 1. Now V1 can be split into horizontal and vertical component. When I do that, From here till here we have VU1, so VU1 which is the horizontal component, and from here till here the vertical component is VF1. Again we are using the same base, that is U, to construct the outlet velocity triangle. So I will transfer the outlet velocity triangle here. So we have U, and from here we have V2. So the angle made by V2 is alpha 2, and then when I join the free ends of U and V2, I will get VR2. So VR2 makes an angle of beta 2 with respect to U. All the angles are measured with respect to U, that is our base reference. So, and now I have V2 here, that can be split into vertical and horizontal component. The vertical component is VF2 and the horizontal component is VU2. The direction of VU2 is opposite to that of U. So U is towards right and VU1 is also towards right, VU2 is towards left. So this is the triangle which you need to remember. We will be solving problem by constructing these kind of combined velocity triangles. Now let us see the condition for maximum blade efficiency. So the blade efficiency, I will call it as eta B. Eta B is given by the work done by the turbine per kg of steam divided by the input energy. So since we are dealing with impulse turbine, the input energy will be only the kinetic energy of the fluid at the inlet. So at the inlet the fluid is entering with velocity V1. So the kinetic energy per kg of steam at the inlet will be equal to V1 square by 2. First let us see what is W. We will try to express W in terms of these components, velocity components and the angles alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1 and beta 2 and the velocity components, because we will be measuring the velocity components and with the help of that we can easily find out the blade efficiency. So here we have eta B which is equal to work done divided by inlet energy, the energy availability inlet, which is the impulse. Since it is an impulse turbine, it is the kinetic energy which is V1 square by 2, because V1 is the velocity of the absolute velocity of the fluid at the inlet. Now let us consider W. So W will be equal to U into VU1 plus or minus VU2. You all remember the Euler's equation. We are dealing with energy transfer per kg of steam. So if I consider work done, then I have to multiply the mass flow rate also, but we are dealing with energy supplied or energy transferred per kg of steam. So here we do not consider the mass flow rate. So the Euler's equation is U into VU1 plus or minus VU2. Now let us apply this. So here we have plus or minus. Now let us apply that for this case. So the plus or minus depends on the direction of the direction of VU1 and VU2. We are dealing with vectors. So if they both are in the same direction, then we have to use minus here. Since here VU1 and VU2 are in opposite direction, the delta VU here in this case will be the horizontal distance between the two flow velocities VF1 and VF2. So this is delta VU, which is equal to VU1 plus VU2. Okay, so in this case, for this case we don't need minus, so it is VU1 plus VU2, or this also can be written as U into delta VU. U into delta VU will give us the energy transfer. Now with the help of velocity triangle, let us try to find out what is delta VU. So here we have from here till here we have delta VU, which is VU1 plus VU2. Now let us express that in terms of V1 and alpha 1, because we will be knowing what is the inlet velocity of the fluid, the absolute velocity of the fluid, and at what angle the fluid will be entering the turbine blades, or we will be knowing the conditions at the nozzle. So just after the nozzle we have the velocity as V1 and the angle of the nozzle at the outlet will be alpha 1. So those conditions will be given. So let us try to express delta VU in terms of the absolute velocity V1 and the angle alpha 1. So I can write delta VU is equal to Now I will try to express, so since delta VU is from here till here, I can use VU1 and VU2, or I can express that in terms of VR1 and VR2. So if I take the, I will just draw a line here. So if I take the horizontal component of VR1, so horizontal component of VR1 is VR1 cos beta 1. So from here till here it is VR1 cos beta 1. So I will write VR1 cos beta 1 plus, now I need this distance from here till here. So now I can go for the horizontal component of VR2. The horizontal component of VR2 will be VR2 cos beta 2. So from here till here, that is VR2 cos beta 2. So I will write this as plus VR2 cos beta 2. Now what I will do is, I will take VR1 cos beta 1 as common. So I will write VR1 cos beta 1. I am doing all these alterations to bring this to a particular form. So we will see that form later. So when I take it out, so here I will be left with 1 plus, here I have VR2 cos beta 2 divided by VR1 cos beta 1. Because I do not have VR1 cos beta 1, so I have to divide it by VR1 cos beta 1. So now this is delta VU. Now let us do a few assumptions. Now I will call CB as VR2 divided by VR1. Since we are dealing with impulse turbine, there is no change in pressure as the fluid or the steam passes over the moving blade. So the relative velocity at the inlet and outlet should be same. But due to fluid friction, the inlet velocity, inlet relative velocity and the outlet relative velocities will not be same, and that ratio I will call it as CB, which we call it as blade coefficient. And also practically speaking, we need to have beta 1 and beta 2 should be same to have a symmetric blade. So if you remember the diagram of an impulse turbine, we had symmetric blade. So I will just write the blade here. So over the axis on either side it should be symmetric. So the blade inlet angle and the blade outlet angle should be same. But again due to fluid friction and other factors, we will not be able to achieve the same blade angles. So I will call that ratio as the ratio of cos beta 2 divided by cos beta 1 as K. Okay, now I will substitute instead of VR2 by VR1 as CB and cos beta 2 by cos beta 1 as K. So here we have delta VU will be equal to VR1 cos beta 1 into 1 plus CB into K. So we will see what happens to CB and K in the practical case later while solving the problems. But as of now, just call this as CB, that is VR2 by VR1, and K as cos beta 2 by cos beta 1. Then now I need to express VR2 cos beta 2 in terms of V1, that is our aim. So to express the work done in terms of V1 and alpha 1. So now here I have VR1 cos beta 1, from here to here it is VR1 cos beta 1. So if I observe the inlet velocity triangle, I know that from here till here it is VU1. So from this point till the end of the velocity triangle it is VU1. But now I need this portion, so I will call this as X. So X is VR1 cos beta 1. So I can write that X will be equal to V1 minus U. So I will write VR1 cos beta 1, which I called it as X, that will be equal to VU1, the tangential component of the absolute velocity V1 minus the tangential speed of the blade U. Now I need to express VU1 in terms of V1. It is very easy. So VU1 is the horizontal component of V1. So I can write this as V1 cos alpha 1 minus U. So Vr1 cos beta 1 will be equal to V1 cos alpha 1 by u. So in the equation for delta Vu, I will write in place of Vr1 cos beta 1, I will write it as V1 cos alpha 1 minus u. So I will write V1 cos alpha 1 minus u into 1 plus Cb into k. So now I will substitute delta Vu in the work done equation. So the work done, W will be equal to U into delta Vu, which will be equal to U into delta Vu is V1 cos alpha 1 minus U into 1 plus Cb into k. Now I will substitute the work done equation in the blade efficiency term. So the blade efficiency eta B will be equal to W divided by V1 square divided by 2, and this will be equal to W is U into V1 cos alpha 1 minus U into 1 plus Cb k divided by V1 square by 2. Now from this equation I will write eta B will be equal to 2 into U into, I will take V1 as common, V1 into cos alpha 1 minus U by V1 into 1 plus Cb k, everything divided by V1 square. So in the numerator we have V1 and in the denominator we have V1 square. So I will cancel one V1 here. So I will be left with 2 times of U by V1 multiplied by cos alpha 1 minus U by V1 multiplied by 1 plus Cb into k. Now if you remember the introduction to the impulse turbine, there we had spoken about a term called phi or speed ratio. So the phi or speed ratio is given by U divided by V1, the tangential velocity of the blade divided by the inlet velocity of the inlet absolute velocity of the fluid. So phi is given by U by V1. So I will express the blade efficiency equation eta B in terms of the speed ratio phi. So eta B will be equal to 2 times of phi multiplied by cos alpha 1 minus phi multiplied by 1 plus Cb into k. So this gives us the blade efficiency in terms of phi and alpha 1. Okay. Now what I will do is I need to find out a condition for maximum blade efficiency. So to get the condition for maximum blade efficiency, what I will do is I will differentiate the blade efficiency with respect to phi. When I differentiate blade efficiency, that is eta B with respect to phi and equate it to 0, I will get the condition for maximum blade efficiency with respect to phi or with respect to speed ratio. So to do that, I will write d by d phi of, here I have 2 into phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi. So I will write it as 2 into cos alpha 1 into phi minus phi square into 1 plus Cb into k. So this everything I need to differentiate with respect to phi, and that should be equal to 0. So here 1 plus Cb into k is constant with respect to phi. So I can write the differentiated term as 2 into 1 plus Cb into k multiplied by the differentiation of cos alpha 1 into phi is cos alpha 1, and differentiation of phi square is 2 phi, and this should be equal to 0. And if you remember the differentiation, if you remember the basic mathematics, then it says that since Cb is a positive value, it is just a ratio of velocities. So that is a positive value. In velocity we do not have negative velocity here. So Cb is a positive value and k is the ratio of beta 1 by beta, the cos of beta 2 by cos of beta 1. Again, beta 1 and beta 2 will be very close to each other. So the ratio of these two causes will be a positive term. So if this entire equation has to be 0, then these will not be equal to 0. So they cannot be equal to 0. The only term which can make this equation as 0 will if this term is equal to 0. So I will write this as cos alpha 1 will be equal minus 2 phi will be equal to 0, or I can write phi is equal to cos alpha 1 divided by 2. So this is the condition for maximum blade efficiency in the case of an impulse turbine. So now let us substitute this condition in the blade efficiency equation, that is eta b equals 2 phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi into 1 plus Cb into k. So now substituting that, I will get eta b max, because we are writing the equation for maximum blade efficiency. So eta b max will be equal to 2 into cos alpha 1 divided by 2, in place of phi I will write cos alpha 1 divided by 2 multiplied by cos alpha 1 minus cos alpha 1 divided by 2, here we have phi, into 1 plus Cb into k. Now I will simplify this. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So here we have cos alpha 1 minus cos alpha 1 by 2, which will be equal to cos alpha 1 by 2. So I can write eta b max as cos square alpha 1 divided by 2 into 1 plus Cb into k. So this is the equation for maximum blade efficiency in the case of a simple impulse turbine or a single stage impulse turbine. Now we have Cb and k. Cb is the losses which occurs due to fluid friction, and that is the ratio of Vr2 by Vr1. If Cb is equal to 1, so let us consider if Cb is equal to 1, and now let us assume the blades are having same inlet and outlet angles, that is beta 1 and beta 2 are same. Then what happens to k? K will be equal to cos beta 1 divided by cos beta 2, sorry beta 1, which is same, so it becomes 1. So k is equal to 1. For these two conditions, if I substitute Cb and k as 1, then I have 1 into 1, which is 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled, and eta b max will be equal to cos square alpha 1. So this is the condition for maximum blade efficiency when you don't consider any losses, you don't consider fluid friction or any losses, and if the blades have same inlet and outlet angle, that is at the inlet, so if this is u, they will have beta 1, and at the outlet they will have the same angle beta 2. If these two are equal and if there are no losses in the fluid flow as the fluid is passing over the moving blade, then the condition for maximum blade efficiency is eta b max will be equal to cos square alpha 1. We know that the condition for maximum blade efficiency eta b is cos square alpha 1. Now let us see when the efficiency will be maximum, for which value of alpha 1 the efficiency will be maximum. So I will write eta b max will be equal to cos square alpha 1. So for which angle this could be maximum? Now let us see that the condition for maximum utilization was phi is equal to cos alpha 1 by 2. Okay, so if I take that phi is equal to 1 over 2, that is half. So in that case, so we will get cos alpha 1 divided by 2. So 2 will get cancelled here. So cos alpha 1 will be equal to 1 when phi is half. Okay, if I substitute that here, I will get eta b max will be equal to 1 squared, which is 1. This is the absolute maximum efficiency which we can achieve, and this we have achieved when phi is half. So in other terms, if the speed ratio, that is U by V1, is equal to 1 over 2, then we can say that we can achieve maximum blade efficiency. Now I will plot a graph where we have phi here on the x-axis and we have blade efficiency eta b on the y-axis. So if we see the variation of phi with respect to, if you see the variation of eta b, that is blade efficiency with respect to phi, so it gradually increases and reaches maximum value, then it reduces, and this maximum value corresponds to value of phi equals 0.5 or 1 over 2, and here the efficiency will be 100%. Theoretically we cannot achieve this, practically we cannot achieve this efficiency, but this is the topmost efficiency which we can achieve if we keep phi as 0.5. And you need to remember that while finding out the condition for maximum utilization, here the blade efficiency has different terms here. It has alpha 1, it has phi, it has Cb and K. Although it has 4 different variables which can vary and affect the blade efficiency, I am considering phi to write the condition for maximum utilization. This is because the variation of phi has maximum effect on the blade efficiency, and the value of Cb and K are very close to 1, so we can neglect that, and alpha 1 is fixed. So once you design the inlet conditions, the nozzle, once the nozzle is designed, then alpha 1 cannot be changed. So alpha 1 and V1 remains constant. So alpha 1 remains constant. So because of that, I have not considered alpha 1, Cb and K as the parameters which can affect the blade efficiency. So only I have taken phi and I have differentiated blade efficiency with respect to phi to get the condition for maximum utilization. Now let us see what happens to the work equation. So work is given by 2 into phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi into 1 plus Cb into K. Now I will substitute the value of phi as cos alpha 1 by 2 because that is the condition for maximum utilization. So maximum work maximum will be equal to 2 into cos alpha 1 divided by 2 into cos alpha 1 minus cos alpha 1 divided by 2 into 1 plus Cb into K. Now let us see the work done equation. So the work done is given by U into V1 cos alpha 1 minus U into 1 plus Cb K. Now let us substitute the condition for maximum utilization, where I can write phi is equal to, cos alpha 1 is equal to 2 phi. So in this equation, U into V1 in place of cos alpha 1, I will write it as 2 times of phi minus U into 1 plus Cb K. And I know phi is U by V1, so I will substitute that. So I have U into V1, 2 times of V1 into U by V1 minus U into 1 plus Cb into K. Now I have V1 in the denominator and the numerator, so I can cancel that. So I have U into 2U minus U into 1 plus Cb into K, that is W max. So this is W max. So W max can be written as 2U minus U is U multiplied by U in the which is present outside. So we have U square into 1 plus Cb into K. So this is the equation for maximum work done. So this gives us the maximum work extracted from the turbine. Now let us see what happens when Cb and K are 1. So if Cb equals 1, that is the relative velocity at the inlet and outlet are same, Vr1 and Vr2 are same, and K equals 1, that is beta 1 and beta 2, the inlet and outlet blade angles are same. In that case, this becomes 1 plus 1 into 1, that is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have W max will be equal to 2 times of U square. So this is the absolute maximum work which we can extract from an impulse turbine.